Hey, y'all, you got Doug Gore, Dougie Doo here with Cajun Soft Wash. I want to talk a little bit today about what do you say when the customer says to you, they call you up on the phone, they say, I just want a ballpark price. I just want a ballpark price. And if that's what you do and you give them a ballpark, hey, that's great and that's fine. I don't like to give ballparks because it generally hurts one of us, one way or the other. Or if I do give a ballpark, I'm typically giving them a higher price and I let them know. Sometimes I'll give them a range if I have to, but I try not to. Sometimes you just get those clients that they just want a ballpark, period, end of story. Most of them are looking for a cheap price, but don't take that as all that they're looking for is price, because they're not. Sometimes they just have no idea. Are we looking at $100 or $1,000? Are we looking at 500 or 5,000? They might be looking, okay, if it's 2,500 bucks, I'm good with it. And you might only, it might actually only be a $500 job, but they have no idea what that cost is. So they're looking for a ballpark before they waste anybody's time. Most of them, though, I do think are more price conscious, but it's not always the case. Basically, what we tell people is, look, we just don't want to give you inaccurate information. Every house is a little bit different, and we have to look at all the different aspects of your home to give you a proper proposal for your home. Your home. Then they're going to say something about, well, I got this flyer in the mail, and it's $159 for a 1,500 square foot home or a 2,500 square foot home. Um, and how do you combat that? It really boils down to the exact same thing of every house is unique and different. And what I will encourage them to do sometimes when they bring up those little flyers of $159 for a 70,000 square foot property, whatever the case may be, I just simply tell them, can you look across the street for me? And they're like, what? Because typically I I personally kind of like to throw them off guard a little bit. Not because I mean, I want them to think is really what I'm doing. So by throwing them off guard and asking them a question that they're totally not ready for, like, can I get you to go look out your front door at your neighbor's house? Because they're going to be kind of like, what? Okay, is their roof the same color as yours? Maybe they answer yes. Okay. Do they have the exact same bushes and shrubs that you have? Do they have the same colored door, the same number of posts in the front of their house? Does their house look like your house? Is it the exact same design as your house? Very often the answer is no. There are some neighborhoods that are pretty cookie cutter, and you're going to get yes answers from these people, but most of the time the answer is no. They're not the same, right? Okay, so how do I give you a price on what your neighbor has? You see? So how about I just come out? Our estimates are free, doesn't cost you anything, and we'll get you a fair and accurate price. Okay, accurate being a good word, fair being a good word. But let them know that every property is unique, every property is different. So you can't. And here's another good thing: if they like here in the South, let's say we're talking about roof cleaning, and the North and West are usually the absolute worst here in the South. So if they say the front of my house looks really bad, okay, and I'm just looking for a ballpark, and I tell them to look across the street at their neighbor's house, a lot of times the front of their neighbor's house looks fine. And so it's a great way for me to share with them. Looking at your neighbor's house is completely different than looking at your house. So how do I ballpark that and make sure I'm right? I would give them a different price than I would give you. Now, if they were looking at the backside of the neighbor's house, well, they might be exactly the same, but you still got rain gutters or no rain gutters. You've got, talking about roof cleaning, how thick, how bad, all those things. So encourage your clients when they ask that question, maybe to look at the neighbor's house or ask them, do you have any brothers or sisters? Yeah, okay. Is your brother's house exactly the same as your house? Okay. Do you think it would be the same price to wash your house as his house? That kind of a thing. Well, yeah, I think that they should be similar. Okay, well, they might be very, very similar. That's true. But there are differences. Okay. Do you have a back patio? Does your brother have a back patio? So you see what I mean? point them in a direction where they can see the light, so to speak, in that not every house is the same thing. Doesn't matter if it's a house. If you cut grass for a living, it's the same thing, where ballparks just really don't work for us, for my company. But I have to get the client to understand that. Hey, I appreciate y'all for listening to me, and Dougie Do out.